Thanks for taking on to the Sunday evening edition of Hogan's European Outlook. It's a bit of a southern UK special tonight. I was accused a couple of days ago of just looking at Scotland, which, quite honestly, I think is a bit of nonsense because I'm one of the. I personally think that this is one of the channels that looks at one of the most broadest views of weather. Whether it be the UK, Ireland, sometimes I miss out in Ireland a wee bit more than I would like to, and I know there's a lot of people in the channel that live in the in Ireland, so I do apologise about that. But also, as well as looking at Europe, looking at all parts of the world, yeah, sometimes I maybe take comments slightly too personal or whatever. I don't know, but anyway. It is the south of England that I want to look at specifically tonight because we know it's getting cold. We know that we've got a run of northerly winds and whatnot. So I don't want to, delve into the broader picture across the British Isles over the next few days in great detail because we've already covered that. We know what's taking place. We try to mix it up, try to keep it fresh, and try and keep it interesting for the viewer, for yourself. But anyway, we've got an area of low pressure, of course, that is now over Scandinavia. That was the system that crossed the northern half of the British Isles over the last 24 hours or so. And of course, we're now tracking the isobars all the way up to the north, and we're dragging in Arctic air once again into the picture. Not quite reaching the British Isles, the southern British Isles, that is, yet. We've got this area of low pressure off to the southwest of Ireland here, and that is going to be the key feature over the next 24 hours. What does it bring? It looks as if it's going to be mainly rain, but we can't rule out the possibility on the north and the western side in particular, that cold air getting dragged in to the system and providing more of a wintry flavour to the weather across the southern half of the British Isles. The question is, how much cold air do we get in place as this system then meets the cold and meets the south of England position? This is the current temperatures across the UK as of recording, so we're down at or below freezing across the north. We're still relatively mild across the south, and we have some relatively cool air, but let's face it, it's actually not that cool. Bear in mind, we're well into the evening now across central portions of Europe, 6s and 7s. Yeah, it's quite mild actually, really, when you think about it. Minus 33 up across the far north of Finland, as you can see here. Looking at the British Isles, and you can see the temperature profile as of recording, and it is 6:05 in the evening, so we're down close to freezing across the north, at a couple of degrees either side of the freezing mark, as you can see here. And then the further south you go, the milder it is. So this is the situation that we're in at the moment here. So this is looking at the GFS overview chart, but this is specifically for Northern Ireland, Ireland, and England and Wales. You notice here that I'm missing out on Scotland because I don't want to be too specific talking about Scotland. Yeah. Anyway. So we've got this system, of course, this area of low pressure, 987 millibars. This is for 1800, so we're just past that time frame. And of course, we are talking about this system moving in across the south of the UK. Now, the system will deepen, actually, as we progress through the overnight tonight. So you can see here at 977 millibars, just to the southwest of Southampton. Let's have a look at the 850s of the GFS here, and you can see, so yeah, marginally cold, so we're not really seeing a cold enough column probably for this time frame. Let's have a look at the 2 meter temperatures here and see what's happening. So we're 8 Celsius over the English Channel. Of course, the temperatures are moderated over the relatively warm waters. As we play through the loop here, you can see here that temperatures are just slightly above the freezing mark as we progress through the overnight period here. So surface temperatures, probably too warm, if I'm being honest. But one thing that needs to be considered is dynamic cooling. So as this area of low pressure deepens, you actually start to draw cold air from the mid levels of the atmosphere down through the column, especially with a system that's deepening and this heavy precipitation is running through the clouds and down towards the surface. You're actually drawing colder air from, like I say, the mid levels down to the surface. So that needs to be taken into consideration. I think over high parts of the southwest, so the Moors, for example, may pick up a light covering of snow. Notice here that the GFS is sniffing out high elevation snowfall in the northwest side of the low. Then as we continue to progress through the area of low pressure itself, the centre kind of drops a little bit further south. You notice here that it's picking up in wintry precipitation through the Isle of Wight, Southampton, Portsmouth, and then up towards Luton. And it's as that system then exits, the Downs, for example, could pick up a covering of snow as well. Do we see some snowflakes in the air through central London? That is going to be the question as well. But I think I'm not entirely convinced that we're going to see enough cold air to really see this as a significant snowmaker here. So yeah, we will wait and see what happens. But what is interesting is that we do have more systems seen by the model. If we look at the bigger picture here, folks, you can see what I'm talking about here. So let's have a look at the Europe view. And you can see here, let's go back to the current picture. There's that area of low pressure that we're talking about through the course of tonight. Northerly winds further north, bringing the snow showers. Of course, there's a little bit of a spacing in the ice bars over the Highlands, for example. This is where temperatures could hit -10 tonight, actually. Further north, with the snow showers, with a little bit more wind, we'll probably see temperatures just a few degrees below the freezing mark. But further south of Inverness, I think we could see clear skies and lighter winds, temperatures really taking the tumble. Could see -6, -7, for example, in Glasgow through the course of tonight. So as that system moves out of the way, you can see here that we have more features seen by the models running the base of the trough. So we've got this big area of low pressure in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, but these features develop embedded within the flow, and what we need to watch out for is the potential for snow developing on these features. Now, the latest run of the GFS indicates that it's signed south over France, if you notice here. Notice also that we enhance the snow showers across the north of Scotland here, so snow showers could go down all the way to sea level, I think, as the flow comes in from the north, and we actually have a feature that runs south over the course of the middle portion of the week here, and that system continues to dive all the way south. We could see some snow across parts of Lincolnshire into East Anglia, possibly Kent as well, during the course of Wednesday also here. So quite interesting weather pattern, that's for sure. And then it looks as if the GFS tries to pull an area of high pressure in from the west to end the work week. If we have snow covered ground and of course high pressure and control, we could see the temperatures tanking quite significantly here overall. Looking at the GFS here, I did say it was a South of England special, but I've actually kind of wandered off that. So I do apologise here. But look at the depth of the trough here, 500 millibars. So we've actually got a two-area centre of high pressure or low pressure, one over to the east of Shetland, the core of the trough actually over the near continent, as you can see. And then as we continue to play through the course of this week, it actually really deepens. That is a heck of a trough actually that develops over the southern half of the British Isles during the middle portion of the week. Notice here high pressure to the west, of course, and that means we've got the cold northerly winds developing here. Eventually that area of high pressure kind of tries to topple its way in from the west over the British Isles here, and that doesn't necessarily herald mild conditions. Actually, it may in fact create less wet conditions, but also could lock in the cold a wee bit longer than first anticipated here. Let's have a quick look at the snowfall forecast here of the models and see what the situation is showing. So if I can try and get to the right chart. There we go. Snow depth chart. Let's get to the British Isles here and have a look at what the model is showing. Let's have a look at the UK, the England and Wales and Ireland view because that's quite interesting to see here. So yeah, it's sniffing out a little bit of snow. You notice here, nothing significant, especially over high ground is where you would probably see that inch or two of snow seen by the model. It's sniffing out something within the Greater London area, probably over higher elevation, but notice here any real accumulation of snow is seen further north, if you notice here. But then, of course, that system that rides south over the British Isles during the middle portion of the week is bringing some snow down the eastern side of England here into East Anglia and into Kent, as you can see. Let's have a look at what the ECMWF is actually indicating here, because that would be quite interesting to see, wouldn't it? So we'll go back to the current view. So it's picking up more snow. Notice that here compared to the GFS here. So I think what it's doing is it's indicating colder air in place. Let's have a look and see what the overview chart is indicating here. So we'll play through the loop. Notice here that it's seeing more snow in the north flank of that low. Now, is it because we're seeing colder 850 temperatures here? Again, it's not very dissimilar to the GFS here. It's having temperatures slightly above the freezing mark, actually. But is it sniffing out dynamic cooling? That kind of drawn down through the column, the cold air, as that area of low pressure deepens as it moves east. That is going to be possibly the reason for that here. But if we go back to the overview chart here, you can see here it's picking up more in the way of snow compared to the GFS model, which is quite interesting. And as we continue to play through the loop, there's flirts with more snow across the south. We've got possibly a disturbance embedded within that northerly flow riding south, but also we've got a bona fide area of low pressure, I think, that runs south during the middle portion of the week here. But notice here that it isn't seeing the snow in the east. So, well, it is actually picking up the snow. It's picking up the snow towards East Anglia and clipping both Yorkshire and Lincolnshire coasts during the early hours of Thursday. So it is seeing the same thing actually as the GFS, which is quite interesting. So yeah, interesting times over the next 24 hours. Then we continue to watch this pattern over the next couple of days, because we're going to see systems bringing the increased threat of snow. Nothing significant, no major deep snow expected, I don't think, but certainly it's going to be a cold week to come. Winter is coming back, -9, -10 possible tonight. Not the coldest of the year if we hit -9, by the way. We did see that in the north of Scotland during the 2nd of January. The temperatures dropped pretty significantly over a fairly widespread snow cover, despite the fact that the majority of England and Wales was actually in the mild air at that stage. So, yeah, keep it right here on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you again, hopefully, with more tomorrow. Bye for now.